My hands won't stop shaking as I dial his number again. Straight to voicemail. Again. It's been 10 months since David caught me kissing Tyler in my parents' driveway, and he still won't answer my calls. Won't read my texts. Won't give me 5 minutes to explain how I destroyed the best thing that ever happened to me. I'm sitting in my childhood bedroom at 30 years old, staring at the same posters I hung up in high school because I can't afford my own place anymore. Not since I lost my job. Not since everyone in our small Nebraska town found out what I did. The mountain biking club won't even let me back in. 6 years of my life gone. All for what? For Tyler, who hasn't returned my calls either since that day. But I should start at the beginning. Back when I thought I was so clever, when I thought I could have everything I wanted without consequences. I met David when I was 24. I'd just moved back to Omaha after college, working at a marketing firm, trying to figure out my life. My friends were all getting engaged, posting their ring photos on Instagram, planning their weddings. I felt like I was falling behind, like everyone else knew some secret I didn't. David was different from the guys I usually dated. Stable, reliable, the kind of man who showed up when he said he would, who remembered your birthday without Facebook reminders. We met at a mountain biking club. He'd been a member for 2 years, knew all the best trails. He was patient when I was learning, never made me feel stupid for being slower or less experienced. The thing is, I wasn't immediately attracted to him. Not like I'd been with Tyler back in high school, where just looking at him made my stomach flip. David was handsome enough, don't get me wrong. 6 feet tall, brown hair, nice smile. But there weren't any sparks. No butterflies. Just comfort. That's why I waited 6 months before asking him to be exclusive. I kept thinking someone better would come along, someone who made me feel the way Tyler had, someone exciting. But the guys I met at bars were all players. The ones on dating apps just wanted hookups. And there was David, texting me good morning every day, asking about my work presentations, remembering that I liked oat milk in my coffee. So I did what I had to do. I locked him down. I knew he was the type of guy who wouldn't make the first move, who'd wait forever for me to decide. So I asked him out, took him to a nice steakhouse, insisted on paying, made sure he knew I was interested, that I was choosing him. Men like David need that reassurance. They need to feel wanted. My friends thought I was crazy. He's boring, Jessica said. Where's the passion? But Jessica was 28 and single, swiping through Tinder every night. I was smarter than that. I knew what happened to women who waited for passion. They ended up alone at 35, competing with 22-year-olds for the same men. David was my insurance policy, my safety net. And for a while it worked perfectly. His parents loved me immediately. His mom would pull me aside at family dinners, tell me how happy she was that David had found someone normal. Someone who wanted the same things he did, a house, kids, a stable life. I played the part perfectly, helped with dishes, remembered birthdays, acted like their son was the most amazing man I'd ever met. My parents loved him too, especially my dad, who'd never liked Tyler. Now that's a real man, he'd say after David fixed something around their house or helped my mom carry groceries. Not like that punk you dated in high school. Tyler. Even hearing his name made something twist in my chest. We'd dated for 2 years in high school. He was everything David wasn't. Dangerous, unpredictable, exciting. He rode a motorcycle, played guitar in a band, had this way of looking at me that made me forget my own name. When he dumped me senior year for a college girl, I cried for months. But that was ancient history. I was with David now. Safe, stable David who brought me flowers every Friday and never forgot to text when he got home safe. David who was talking about our future, about the house we'd buy, the kids we'd have. David who didn't know that sometimes when we were together, I closed my eyes and pretended he was someone else. The reunion invitation came in June, 2 months before everything fell apart. Our 10-year high school reunion. I mentioned it casually to David over dinner, tried to gauge his interest. "Sounds fun," he said, cutting his chicken. "I'll request the time off work." My heart sank. "You don't have to come if you're busy." I know you've got that big project. No, I want to meet your high school friends. See where you grew up. He reached across the table, squeezed my hand. Besides, any excuse to spend a weekend with your parents. Your mom's cooking is incredible. I smiled, squeezed back. Inside, I was panicking, because I'd already seen the Facebook event, already knew who'd RSVP'd yes. Tyler was coming. Tyler, who was divorced now, according to LinkedIn. Tyler, who still looked exactly the same in his profile picture, maybe better. I needed to see him, just once, just to prove to myself that I was over him, that I'd made the right choice with David, just to show him what he'd missed out on. Actually, I said, pulling my hand back, I just remembered. Your project deadline is that Monday, right? Maybe it's better if you stay and work. I'll only be gone 2 days. David frowned. I can work on the plane. I don't want you to go alone. Don't be silly. I'll be with my parents the whole time. And honestly, these things are so boring. Just a bunch of people bragging about their lives. You'd hate it. It took 2 weeks of careful manipulation to convince him. Mentions of how tired he looked. Suggestions that his boss seemed stressed about the deadline. Reminders of how important this project was for his promotion. Finally, the week before the reunion, he agreed to stay home. I'll miss you, he said, kissing me goodbye that Friday morning. Text me when you get there safe. Of course. I kissed him back, tasting the coffee on his lips. I love you. Love you too. Have fun catching up with everyone. The 3-hour drive to my hometown felt like minutes. I'd told David I was staying with my parents, and technically that wasn't a lie. I had every intention of sleeping in my childhood bed, but first, I had plans. Tyler messaged me on Facebook the week before. Just a simple, hey, you coming to this thing? But seeing his name in my inbox made me feel 18 again. We'd exchanged a few messages, casual, friendly. He mentioned he was excited to catch up. The messages had started innocent enough. Can't believe it's been 10 years. You still mountain biking? Remember that time we snuck into the water tower? But then they shifted. I still think about you sometimes. My marriage didn't work out. You were the one that got away. I should have blocked him then. Should have shown David the messages, laughed about them together. Instead, I found myself checking Facebook constantly, waiting for Tyler's next message. I'd be sitting next to David on the couch, watching our shows, and my phone would buzz. Tyler. Always Tyler. And I'd feel that rush, that teenage thrill I thought I'd outgrown. Who's that? David would ask, not suspicious, just making conversation. Work stuff, I'd lie, already typing back. The first physical betrayal happened about 3 months after the messages started. I told David it was a girls' weekend with my mom. Some antiquing, a little wine tasting. He didn't even question it. Just kissed me goodbye, told me to have fun, and reminded me to check the oil in my car before the drive. That was David. Always taking care of me, even when I was driving off to betray him. Tyler and I met at Murphy's, that same dive bar. I told myself it was just to talk, just to catch up in person. But I wore the red dress, the one David thought was too revealing. The moment I saw Tyler, I knew it wasn't just talk. He looked even better than his pictures. That same cocky smile, those same eyes that looked right through me. We sat in that back booth for hours. He told me about his divorce, how his ex was crazy. I told him about my job, but I left David out. Made him sound like just some guy I was casually seeing, not the man I lived with, not the man who'd already started looking at engagement rings. You're still the one, Mandy, Tyler said, his hand covering mine on the sticky table. You know that, right? I should have pulled my hand away. Should have told him about David, about the life we'd built. Instead, I leaned in when he kissed me, followed him out to his car. We didn't even make it to his hotel that first time. That night started the pattern. The weekend trips home, the work emergencies that David always understood. The girls' nights that were anything but. It became a sick, easy routine. I'd spend the week being David's perfect girlfriend, cooking dinner together, watching our shows, planning our future. Then I'd spend one weekend a month being Tyler's dirty secret, doing things in motel rooms that would have shocked sweet, respectful David. I had my security and my passion, my future husband and my bad boy. I thought I was smart enough to keep them separate forever. I thought I deserved both. The night before I left for the reunion, David made my favorite dinner. Salmon with that lemon butter sauce I loved, roasted vegetables, the good wine we saved for special occasions. He'd even stopped at the bakery for those chocolate croissants I mentioned wanting 3 days earlier. That was David. Always listening, always remembering, always trying to make me happy. "I'm going to miss you," he said over dessert. "The apartment feels wrong when you're not here." "It's just 2 nights," I said, but I couldn't meet his eyes. "I know I'm being silly." He reached for my hand. "I just love you so much sometimes it scares me." "Why does it scare you?" "Because I can't imagine my life without you." He squeezed my fingers. "You're everything to me, Mandy." "You know that, right?" I squeezed back, guilt churning in my stomach. "I love you too." That night he held me extra close, whispered plans for our future against my hair, the vacation we'd take next summer, the house we'd start looking for soon, the proposal he didn't know I knew was coming. I lay there in his arms, feeling his heartbeat against my back, and thought about Tyler. I spent 2 hours getting ready that Friday night. The red dress that David said was too revealing, the heels that made my legs look incredible, hair curled just the way Tyler used to like it. I told myself I just wanted to look good for everyone, not just him. I almost believed it. The reunion was at our old high school gymnasium, decorated with awkward photos from 2012. I walked in and immediately scanned the room. Found him by the punch bowl, looking exactly like I remembered. Better, actually. The years had sharpened his features, given him a confidence that was even more attractive than his teenage cockiness. Our eyes met across the room. He smiled, that same crooked smile that used to make me weak. I walked over, trying to look casual, like my heart wasn't pounding. "Mandy!" The way he said my name made me shiver. "You look incredible." "Thanks, you too." I was proud of how steady my voice sounded. "How have you been?" We talked for 3 hours. About his divorce. His ex was crazy, apparently. About his job, sales, good money, lots of travel. About my life. I may have forgotten to mention David. Other people tried to join our conversation, but we barely noticed them. It was like we were in our own bubble, 18 again, the rest of the world fading away. When they started cleaning up, Tyler suggested we go to Murphy's, this dive bar we used to sneak into with fake IDs. "For old time's sake," he said. I should have said no. Should have gone home to my parents' house, texted David goodnight, gone to sleep. Instead, I said, why not? The bar hadn't changed. Same sticky floors, same terrible music, same booth in the back corner where we used to make out. We sat there drinking whiskey and talking about the past. His knee touched mine under the table. I didn't move away. "I was an idiot," he said suddenly. "Letting you go. Biggest mistake of my life." "Tyler!" "No, let me finish. I see you on Facebook sometimes. You look happy. But are you? Really?" I thought about David, about our Friday night flowers and predictable dinners and the engagement ring he probably had hidden somewhere, about the life I was supposed to want. "I don't know," I admitted. "You know what I think?" Tyler leaned back, that confident smirk I used to love playing on his lips. "I think you're bored out of your mind. I think you're with some nice guy who brings you flowers and remembers your birthday and bores you to tears. I think you lie there at night remembering how good we were together and wondering what happened to the girl who used to skinny dip in the reservoir." "That girl grew up," I said, but my voice shook. "Did she? Or did she just get scared?" His fingers traced patterns on the table, inches from mine. Remember the time we drove to Chicago just because you'd never seen Lake Michigan? Left at midnight. No plan, just went? When's the last time you did something like that? Never. David liked to plan trips months in advance. Research hotels, read reviews, make reservations, safe, predictable, boring. That's not fair, I said. People change. They want different things. Do they? Or do they just settle? Tyler leaned forward. Tell me something, Mandy. When he touches you, do you feel it in your whole body, or do you just let him? The whiskey burned my throat. The truth burned worse. Because David's touches were gentle, respectful, predictable. He asked permission, watched my face, made sure I was comfortable. Tyler had never asked permission for anything. He took what he wanted, and God help me, I'd loved it. We were kids, I said weakly. We were on fire, he corrected. And you know what? I think we still are. He leaned closer. Remember how good we were together? That fire? Tell me you don't miss it. I did miss it. God, I missed it so much it hurt. Missed feeling alive, feeling wanted, feeling like I could die from wanting someone so badly. David had never made me feel that way. Safe, yes. Loved, sure. But not consumed. Not desperate. Not wild. Tyler's hand covered mine. One night. Just to remember. No one has to know. I thought about David. Home working on his project. Trusting me. Planning our future. I thought about the ring his mother had apparently given him. The proposal my friends kept saying was coming. I thought about the life I was supposed to want. The husband, the house, the kids, the stability. Then Tyler kissed me, and I stopped thinking at all. I didn't go home that night. Told my parents I was too drunk to drive, staying with Jessica. They believed me because I'd never given them reason not to. Spent the night at Tyler's hotel, doing things I hadn't done in years, feeling things I'd convinced myself I didn't need to feel anymore. The next morning, reality crashed in. David had texted 5 times. Good morning, beautiful. How was the reunion? Miss you. Hope you're having fun with your parents. Love you. I texted back from Tyler's bathroom, hands shaking. Morning. Sorry, phone died. Reunion was fun. At parents' house now. Love you too. Tyler drove me to my parents' house around 11. I should have had him drop me off down the street. Should have been more careful. But I was drunk on the attention, on the way he looked at me, on feeling desired again. When he parked in the driveway, I didn't think. Just leaned over and kissed him, deep and long, like I was trying to store up enough passion to last through another 6 years of Friday flowers. I'll see you tonight, he asked when we finally broke apart. Wouldn't miss it, I said. The reunion luncheon. Another chance to feel alive. I floated into the house, still tasting him on my lips. My mom was in the kitchen making lunch. Have fun last night? She asked. It was nice seeing everyone, I lied smoothly. I'm going to shower before the lunch thing. I was in my room, choosing an outfit that would drive Tyler crazy, when I heard cars in the driveway. Figured it was my dad back from his Saturday morning golf game. Kept trying on dresses, imagining Tyler's face when he saw me. Then I heard the shouting. My dad's voice, louder than I'd ever heard it. My mom crying. Another voice, familiar but wrong, like hearing your favorite song in a minor key. David's voice. I ran downstairs in my underwear and the dress I'd been trying on, half-zipped. Burst through the front door to the screened porch. Saw 3 faces turn toward me. My father, red with rage. My mother, tears streaming. And David holding a small velvet box, looking like someone had reached into his chest and ripped out his heart. David? My voice came out as a whisper. What are you? Surprise, he said flatly. I finished my project early. Thought I'd propose at your reunion lunch. Your mom was so excited. The box was still in his hand. I could see the ring inside, vintage, probably his grandmother's. The kind of ring I'd pinned on Pinterest 100 times. The kind of ring girls dreamed about. "I can explain," I started, but even I didn't believe me. "Explain what?" My dad's voice was like thunder. "Explain why you were making out with that piece of trash in our driveway? Explain why you've been lying to all of us?" "It was a mistake," I said, the words tumbling out. "I was drunk." It didn't mean anything. A mistake? David's voice was so quiet I had to strain to hear it. "You texted me last night, said you were at your parents' house, said you loved me." "I do love you." Stop." He put the ring box in his pocket, looked at me like he was seeing me for the first time. "Your dad told me. This isn't the first time. Those weekend trips here without me. You've been seeing him. It's not like—" "At least a year," my dad said. "She admitted it. A year, David, while you were planning a future. A year." I tried to remember when it started. The messages, the innocent meetups when I was home, the lies that came so easily. Had it really been that long? David walked past me without another word. I grabbed his arm, desperate. "Please, just let me explain. We can work through this. Couples therapy, whatever you want." He pulled away, didn't even look at me. "Your parents have my number. If there's anything of yours at my place, they can arrange to get it." "David, please." I was crying now, mascara running down my face. 6 years! You're throwing away 6 years? He stopped at the door, turned back. For a second, I thought maybe. "No, Mandy. You threw it away. I'm just done catching it." Then he was gone. I heard his car start, heard him drive away, heard my entire future disappearing down the street. "Get inside," my father said, his voice like ice. "Now!" I stumbled into the house, still in my half-zipped dress, Tyler's cologne still on my skin. My parents followed, my mother closing the door with a quiet click that sounded like a prison cell locking. "How long?" My father didn't yell anymore. That was worse. "How long have you been lying to us?" To him? Don't you dare." My mother's voice cracked. "Don't you dare lie anymore." "That boy came here to propose. He showed us the ring, his grandmother's ring. He was shaking, Mandy, shaking with excitement to make you his wife." The ring. I'd seen it once when I was snooping through David's things. Art Deco, platinum, a cushion-cut diamond surrounded by smaller stones. The kind of ring you saw on Pinterest boards titled Dream Engagement Rings. The kind of ring that meant something, that had history, that said, "I want to give you my whole family." "It's Tyler, isn't it?" my dad said. "That piece of garbage from high school. The one who dumped you for that college girl, left you crying for months. That's who you've been seeing." "You don't understand." "I understand plenty." My father's face was red. "I understand that David drove 3 hours to surprise you. I understand that he's been saving for a year to buy a house for you. I understand that he asked my permission to marry you last month, and I gave it because I thought you'd finally found someone worthy of you." Last month. When I was already sneaking around with Tyler. When I was already lying, already betraying everyone who loved me. "How many times?" my mother asked. "All those weekends you came home alone? Were you with Tyler?" Not every time." "How many times, Mandy?" "I don't know." The words exploded out of me. "A lot, okay?" "A lot of times. But it didn't mean anything." "Didn't mean anything." My mother was crying now. "Then why did you do it? Why did you throw away that beautiful man for someone who already threw you away once?" I didn't have an answer. How could I explain that David's love felt like a comfortable prison? That his stability made me feel old? That his devotion bored me? That I needed Tyler's chaos like a drug? I tried everything. Called until he blocked my number. Showed up at his apartment until he threatened a restraining order. Sent his friends, our friends, to talk to him. They all came back with the same answer. "He's done. Move on." I even drove to his work once, waited in the parking lot like some kind of stalker, watched him walk out with his coworkers, laughing at something someone said. He looked fine. Not destroyed, not pining, just fine. Like I'd been erased from his life as easily as deleting photos from his phone. When he saw my car, his whole body changed. Shoulders tensed, jaw clenched. He said something to his coworkers and walked straight to me, but not the way I'd hoped. Not like a man who missed me. Like a man dealing with a problem. "You need to leave," he said through my rolled-down window. "This is harassment, Mandy." 5 minutes, I begged. "Just give me 5 minutes to explain." Explain what? How you lied to me every weekend for a year? How you looked me in the eye and said you loved me while you were sleeping with him? How you let me plan our whole future while you were planning your next lie? It wasn't like that, I whispered, even though we both knew it was. Yes, it was. He pulled out his phone. "I have the texts, Mandy." Tyler sent them to me. My blood turned to ice. "What?" Yeah, after you wouldn't leave him alone either, he figured the best way to get rid of you was to make sure I knew everything. Every weekend, every lie, every time you told me you were too tired for sex because you'd already been with him. The parking lot spun. Tyler had kept our texts, screenshots. He'd actually sent them to David. He wouldn't. He did. All of them, including the ones where you made fun of me. David's voice was flat. Where you called me boring, Mr. Predictable. Where you laughed about how easy I was to lie to. Where you said I was your retirement plan. My God, Mandy. Retirement plan. You really thought that little of me. Retirement plan. I remembered typing those words, wine-drunk and feeling clever. Tyler had asked why I stayed with David if he bored me so much. "He's my retirement plan," I'd written. "Boring now, but he'll be making bank in 10 years. Plus, he's the type who'll never cheat." I didn't mean, "I'm calling security if you're not gone in 30 seconds, David said. "Don't come here again. Don't come to my apartment. Don't contact my family. We're done." He walked away without looking back. I sat in my car, shaking, as security approached. The texts. Tyler had saved our texts, had weaponized them, had destroyed any chance I had of fixing this. But how could I move on? I'd invested 6 years in David, 6 years of being the perfect girlfriend, of playing house, of pretending I was satisfied with safe and stable. That was supposed to be my happy ending. The ring, the wedding, the house, the kids. I'd done everything right, said the right things, played the part. Except I hadn't. Because while I was busy planning my future with David, I was sneaking around with Tyler. Tyler, who, it turned out, wasn't interested in anything more than reliving our glory days. Who stopped returning my calls the day after the reunion, who was already back with his ex-wife, according to Facebook. I lost my job 3 months later. Couldn't focus, kept missing deadlines, spent too much time crying in the bathroom. They called it a restructuring, but everyone knew the truth. Small towns talk. Everyone knew I was the woman who cheated on that nice David guy, that engineer who used to fix everyone's computers for free. So now I'm here. 30 years old, living with my parents, applying for jobs in towns where nobody knows my name. David's doing great, according to his LinkedIn. Got that promotion, bought a house, started dating a teacher who looks nothing like me, soft and sweet and probably never lies about where she spends her nights. My mom brings me tea sometimes, sits on my bed like she did when I was 16 and Tyler first broke my heart. "Why?" she asks. "Why would you throw away something so good?" I tell her I don't know. Tell her it was a mistake. Tell her I was confused. But the truth is simpler and uglier than any excuse I can make. I did it because I wanted to. Because David was safe, and Tyler was exciting. Because I thought I was smart enough to have both. Because I believed I deserved everything. The stable boyfriend and the thrilling affair, the security and the passion, the ring and the romance. I thought I was playing the game perfectly. Lock down the good guy, keep the bad boy on the side, have my cake and eat it too. I never thought David would find out. Never thought he'd have the spine to walk away if he did. Never thought Tyler would disappear again, just like he had in high school. Never thought I'd end up with nothing. My phone buzzes. Another rejection email. Another job I won't get. Another reminder that actions have consequences, that you can't manipulate your way through life forever, that eventually the house of cards comes tumbling down. I used to feel sorry for women like me, the ones who ended up alone at 30, desperate and bitter, wondering where all the good men went. Now I know the truth. The good men didn't go anywhere, we just threw them away. And men like David? They don't come back. They move on, find women who actually want them, build the lives we pretended to want. While we're stuck in our childhood bedrooms, refreshing their social media, watching them be happy without us. 10 months later, and I'm still calling, still texting, still hoping that maybe if I can just explain, if I can just make him understand. But David's not like Tyler. He doesn't need the drama, the push and pull, the games. He wanted something real. And when he realized I wasn't capable of giving him that, he left. The irony is, I finally understand what I had. Finally appreciate all those Friday flowers and boring dinners and predictable kisses. Finally want the life I spent 6 years pretending to want. But it's too late. Some mistakes you can't undo. Some bridges burn so completely there's nothing left but ash. Some men are too good to take back the woman who never really wanted them in the first place. I'm learning that now, the hard way. The only way women like me ever learn anything. Alone.